Welcome back to the Interplanar Fighting Championships, where D&D monsters battle for bragging rights. The next IFC tournament is here with a bracket full of CR10 monsters ready to fight for glory. And if you want to fill out a bracket, here's the official IFC scoring system. Guess a round 1 matchup correctly, you get 1 point. Guess a round 2 matchup correctly, you get 2 points. Guess a semifinal bout correctly, you get 4 points. And if you guess the champion of the tournament correctly, you get 8 points. And if you'd like to chat with me and the rest of the IFC community, join our Discord server. The first matchup in our CR10 tournament pits the Haunting Revenant versus the Elder Oblex. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. It's a natural 20 for the Haunting Revenant, so they're up first. They're gonna use their multi-attack, 2 object slams, and invitation. So first invitation. It's a DC 17 charisma saving throw. A 4 plus 8 is going to fail. On a failure, the target is teleported inside the Revenant space and swallowed. While the Oblex is inside the Revenant, they can only leave by magical means. And now the Revenant gets 2 slam attacks. Their slams are at advantage if the target is inside the Revenant. A 9 plus 9 hits, and an 8 plus 9 hits. Each slam deals 5d8 plus 5 bludgeoning. 53 plus 10, 63 bludgeoning damage. The Elder Oblex's turn. They could try to Dimension Door out of the Revenant, but that would be their entire turn. So I think they're going to use their multi-attack, 2 pseudopod attacks, and Eat Memories. For Eat Memories, DC 18 Wisdom saving throw. And that is a natural 20. And on a success, nothing happens. Moving to the pseudopods, a 13 or higher hits. Both of those are gonna hit. Each pseudopod deals 46 plus 3 bludgeoning plus 46 psychic. The Revenant is resistant to psychic damage, so we got a bunch of white dice for the psychic damage. Okay. Time for us to count. 40 bludgeoning damage and 28 psychic half to 14. The Revenant's turn. 2 object slam attacks, all at advantage. 18 plus 9 hits and an 11 plus 9 hits. This could be it right here. 42 on 10d8 and the Oblex is down. 9, 15, 22, 28, 43, 48, plus 10, 58 points of damage. And with that, the Haunting Revenant defeats the Elder Oblex. Today's round 1 matchup of our CR10 tournament pits the Giff Warlord versus the Nonaton Modron. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Modron gets advantage with their ability Combat Ready, and with that, the Modron will be up first. They're going to use their multi-attack, 3 arm attacks, and Pillar of Truth. Pillar of Truth, it's a DC 15 dexterity saving throw. A 12 plus 6 is going to save. 66 force damage halved. 22 damage halved to 11. And now the 3 arm attacks, a 9 or higher hits. It's gonna be 2 hits. On a hit, the Giff Warlord is now grappled, and each arm hit deals 2d8 plus 4 piercing. 21 damage. The Giff Warlord is a legendary monster, which means they have legendary actions. So they're gonna do Weapon of Choice. They get to make 2 Morningstar attacks, a 6 or higher hits. Both of those are gonna hit. Their Morningstar deals 2d8 plus 5 piercing. 26 damage. Now the Giff's turn. They're going to use their multi-attack, 2 Morningstar attacks. That's only going to be 1 hit. 14 damage. The Nonaton Modron's turn. 3 arm attacks and Pillar of Truth. Pillar of Truth, DC 15 dex saving throw. That is a natural 20. 19 force damage, half to 9. And now the 3 arm attacks. That's a miss, hit, and a crit. 24 plus 8, 32 damage. At the end of the Modron's turn, legendary action, Weapon of Choice, 2 Morningstar attacks. And that is a natural 20 and a natural 1. The 2 sides of the same coin. 26 piercing. Now the Giff's turn, 2 Morningstar attacks. Another natural 1 and a hit. 11 damage. The Modron's turn. 3 arm attacks and Pillar of Truth. Pillar of Truth, DC 15 dex saving throw. A 15 plus 6 saves. Man, some big saves. Big ol' saves. 29 force, halved to 14. And 3 arm attacks, 2 of them at advantage. First arm attack hits, second arm attack misses. And the third arm attack misses, so only 1 hit. Ooh, that is brutal. That is not good. Ooh, but that's a good roll. 19 piercing damage. End of the Modron's turn. Legendary action, 2 Morningstar attacks. Ooh, both of those are gonna hit. 15 plus 10, 25 damage. Oh man, the Giff Warlord might be too much for the Modron. The Giff's turn, 2 Morningstar attacks. Both of those are gonna hit. Ooh, good roll. 15, 20, 28 plus 10, 38 damage. Oh no, the Modron not looking good. Okay, the Modron's turn. Pillar of Truth and 3 arm attacks. Pillar of Truth, DC 15 dex saving throw. A 2 plus 6 fails, but the Giff Warlord has 2 legendary resistances, so they're gonna save. A legendary monster in a CR tournament. Let's go. That is so fun. 18 force, halved to 9. The Modron needs to go crazy right here. They need some crits, probably. Actually, they for sure need some crits. Maybe all of these be crits. 3 arm attacks. Okay, that's 1 crit and 2 hits. That's pretty good. 8d8 plus 12. On 8d8, they need this to be 51. Is that possible? It is possible. They need to roll crazy here, because I got a feeling the Giff Warlord's going to take them out after this turn. 51. 10... 17, 24 plus 9, 33, 42 plus 12 is 54 points of damage. The Giff Warlord's still up. Oh my gosh. And this could be it. Legendary action, 2 Morningstar attacks. Okay, that is only 1 hit. 14 damage. Okay. The Giff Warlord's turn. 2 Morningstar attacks. Let's big die moment this. Let's do it. On a hit, the Warlord wins. And they hit on a 6 or higher. First attack's a 4 plus 10. Misses. Okay. Second attack. On a 5 or lower, the Modron stays up. Let's see. An 11 plus 10, a 21 hits the Modron, and minimum damage takes the Modron down. The Giff Warlord is moving on. Our next round 1 matchup in our CR10 tournament pits the Death Slaad versus the Alhoon, sponsored by Patreon member PieGod13. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Death Slaad up first. They're going to do their multi-attack, 2 Chaos Blade attacks. A 6 or higher is going to hit. Both of those are going to hit. Each blade deals 1d12 plus 5 slashing, plus 3d6 necrotic. The Alhoon is resistant to necrotic damage. 19 slashing, plus 20 necrotic, halved to 10. And with each Chaos Blade hit, until the start of the Slaad's next turn, the target has a condition determined by rolling a d4. That's a 1 and a 4. The Alhoon is charmed and incapacitated. Oh my gosh. Now the Alhoon's turn. They are incapacitated. They can't take actions, bonus actions, or reactions. So they can't do anything. And it's now the Death Slaad's turn. They're doing 2 more Chaos Blade attacks. A 5 plus 9 misses, so both of those miss. Oh my gosh. It's now the Alhoon's turn. The Alhoon's gonna cast their once-a-day spell, Dominate Monster. The Death Slaad will have advantage because the Alhoon is fighting it. It's a DC 16 Wisdom saving throw. The Death Slaad adds 0 to this, so they need one of these to be a 16 or higher. If they fail, they are under the Alhoon's control. And a 13 plus 0 is going to fail. The Death Slaad is now dominated by the Alhoon. It is the Death Slaad's turn. The Alhoon's gonna tell the Death Slaad to go prone. And it's now the Alhoon's turn. The Alhoon's gonna make 2 Chilling Grasp attacks with advantage. The first one hits, And that's a crit on the second. With Chilling Grasp, the Alhoon regains 14 hit points per hit. So they regain 28 hit points. Each Chilling Grasp deals 46 cold damage. The Death Slaad is resistant to cold damage. So all of this is halved. 31 cold damage, halved to 15. The Death Slaad also remakes a wisdom saving throw every time they take damage. With advantage, a 16 or higher saves. That is cocked right here, and we honor the cock. The first save fails. The second one, also a fail. The Death Slaad is still dominated. The Death Slaad's turn, they have an ability called Regeneration. They regain 10 hit points at the start of each of its turns. The Alhoon's just gonna instruct the Death Slaad to take these hits. I think that's gonna just give the Alhoon advantage, because on the Alhoon's turn, they're gonna step back from the Death Slaad and do 2 Arcane Bolt attacks. These are ranged spell attacks. First one with advantage. A 9+8 misses. Second one with advantage. A 10+8 hits. Each bolt deals 8d6 force damage. 30 force damage. And the Death Slaad remakes a wisdom saving throw 16 or higher. And that's a natural 20. The Death Slaad is no longer dominated. It's now the Death Slaad's turn. They regain 10 hit points. The Death Slaad's just going to go in and do 2 Chaos Blade attacks. That's only 1 hit. 6 slashing damage, and 12 necrotic, halved to 6. A d4 to determine the condition. And that's out of the box. We're just too strong these days. And that's a 2. The Alhoon is frightened of the Death Slaad. The Alhoon's turn. The Alhoon's gonna use Mind Blast. Each creature must succeed on a DC 16 intelligence saving throw. And because Mind Blast says magically emits psychic energy, the Death Slaad's magic resistance ability comes into effect. They have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. They add a 2, so with advantage, they need a 14 or higher to save. That's gonna fail. So they take 48 plus 4 psychic and are stunned for 1 minute. 20 psychic damage. The Death Slaad's turn, they regenerate 10 hit points. At the end of their turn, remake the saving throw. A 19 plus 2 is gonna save. The Death Slaad is no longer stunned. The Alhoon's turn. Mind Blast doesn't recharge. We'll say the Alhoon could have stepped back away from the Death Slaad so they can do their 2 Arcane Bolt attacks. Ooh, both of those are gonna hit. So many dice. That is 57 force damage. This match is wild. The Death Slaad's turn. Regains 10 hit points. They're doing 2 Chaos Blade attacks. That is a crit and a hit. 24 slashing damage, and 39 necrotic, halved to 19. I'm now looking at the Alhoon's condition immunities. They are immune to the charmed and frightened condition. Neither of those came into effect too much for the Alhoon. They're also immune to the poison condition. So on these D4s, only a 4 is going to impact the Alhoon, and that is the incapacitated condition. And both of those are 4s. The Alhoon is incapacitated. They can't take actions, bonus actions, or reactions. So it is their turn. Mind Blast does recharge. It is now the Death Slaad's turn. They regen 10 hit points, and they're doing 2 more Chaos Blade attacks. A 6 plus 9 hits, so both of those hit. 26 slashing and 19 necrotic, halved to 9. 2 more D4s. Only a 4 will impact the Alhoon. And that's a 2 and a 4. The Alhoon is incapacitated once again. Oh my gosh, it is the Alhoon's turn. They're incapacitated. Back to the Death Slaad. The Death Slaad regens 10 hit points, and they're making 2 Chaos Blade attacks. A 4 plus 9 misses. That's only 1 hit. 16 slashing and 10 necrotic, halved to 5. 1d4, only on a 4. And that is another 4. I'm so sorry, Pie God 13. I'm rolling 4s on these D4s. Oh, that is so brutal. The Alhoon's turn. They're incapacitated. To the Death Slaad. Regen 10 hit points. Oh my gosh. This could be it. 2 Chaos Blade attacks. 2 12s, both of those hit. Let's roll necrotic first. 16 half to 8. The Alhoon needs 2d12 to be a 19 or lower to stay alive. A 9 and 5, that's 14 plus 10, 24 slashing damage. The Alhoon is still up. 2d4s, 1 through 3, and the Alhoon can act on their turn. And that is 2 4s. What is going on? Oh no. Oh no. I'm so sorry, Pie God. I am so sorry. I don't know what's going on. The Alhoon is still incapacitated. The Death Slaad's turn. They regen 10 hit points. 2 Chaos Blade attacks. On a hit, they win. The Alhoon needs both of these to be a 5 or lower. And that is 1 hit on the Alhoon. Minimum damage takes the Alhoon down. The Death Slaad is victorious. Moving along in round 1 of our CR10 tournament, we have the CR9 champion Glabrezu versus the Maelephant. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. Ooh, a natural 1 for the Glabrezu, but they add a 2. The Maelephant with a 2, they have a 0, so the Glabrezu up first. They're gonna use their multi-attack, 2 pincers, and spell casting. They're gonna cast their once-a-day spell Confusion. DC 16 Wisdom saving throw. A 4 plus 3 is gonna fail. The Maelephant is confused. They can't take bonus actions or reactions and have to roll a d10 at the start of each of its turns to determine their behavior. I forgot that the Maelephant has magic resistance, so they have advantage on saving throws against spells. So let's roll 1 more. Another 4 on the dice. Okay, they are confused. So now the 2 pincers. 6 or higher hits. That is a crit and a hit. Each pincer deals 2d10 plus 5 slashing. This one's cocked, and we honor the cock. 30 plus 10, 40 damage. The Maelephant's turn. They roll a d10. The higher the better for the Maelephant. And that is a 10. The Maelephant can choose its behavior. The Maelephant has an action Mind Poison. The Glabrezu is immune to poison. So they're gonna do their multi-attack, 1 barbed trunk and 2 glaive attacks. A 9 or higher hits. That is only 1 glaive hit. The glaive deals 2d10 plus 4 slashing. 12 damage. A DC 10 concentration check for the Glabrezu. They add a plus 9, so only on a natural 1 will they fail. 17 plus 9 saves. Confusion is still up. At the end of each of the Maelephant's turns, they can repeat the save. DC 16 Wisdom saving throw. A 9 and a 2. Maelephant is still confused. Now the Glabrezu's turn. The Glabrezu's going to use their multi-attack, 2 pincer attacks. You'll notice the Glabrezu is a little bit different than the CR9 champion version because we got a 2024 Glabrezu version here. So only 2 pincer attacks. 8 plus 9 hits, so both of those hit. Ooh, good roll. 34 plus 10. 44 damage. So now the Maelephant's turn. D10 for confusion. A 3. Maelephant doesn't move or take actions this turn. At the end of the Maelephant's turn, DC 16 Wisdom saving throw. There we go, a 17 plus 3 is gonna save. The Maelephant is no longer confused. Now the Glabrezu's turn. They're using their 2 pincers and spellcasting Power Word Stun. They can make a con saving throw at the end of each of its turns. With the Maelephant stunned, 2 pincer attacks. That's a crit on the first, and a hit on the second. 49 damage. The Maelephant's turn. At the end of their turn, DC 16 Constitution saving throw. They add an 8 with advantage. That is a natural 1 and a natural 2. That's gonna fail. The Maelephant is still stunned. Oh my gosh, our CR9 champion is crazy. It is now their turn. 2 more pincer attacks, both at advantage. This should be it. A 10 plus 9 hits. and another crit. Oh my gosh, our CR9 champion is wild. Oh my gosh. 10, 20, plus 18, 38, 41, 51 points of damage. And man, the Glabrezu has not been nerfed. They demolished the Maelephant. Our next round 1 matchup of our CR10 tournament pits the young gold dragon versus the Eyemonger. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Eyemonger has an ability False Appearance. If they are motionless and have their eye and mouth closed at the start of combat, it has advantage on its initiative roll. And with that advantage, they'll be up first. They're gonna make a bite attack. A 14 plus 9 hits. If the creature is medium or smaller, it can swallow it. Unfortunately for the Eyemonger, the young gold dragon is a large creature, so it's only gonna deal 2d6 plus 5 damage. 11 damage. Oh, poor Eyemonger. Young gold dragon's turn. They're gonna use their fire breath. DC 17 dex saving throw. The Eyemonger subtracts 2, so they need a 19 or a 20 to save. An 8 minus 2 is gonna fail. 10d10 fire damage. 58 fire damage. The Eyemonger's turn. One more bite attack. A 5 plus 9 is gonna miss. Oh, poor Eyemonger. Poor guy. That's all they can do. The young gold dragon's turn. Fire breath does not recharge. They're doing their multi-attack 3 rend attacks. A 7 plus 10 hits, so all of those hit. Each rend deals 2d10 plus 6 slashing. 56 slashing damage. Dang, Meatball has no chance. It's the Eyemonger's turn. Bite attack. A 9 plus 9 hits. 14 piercing damage. The young gold dragon's turn. Fire breath recharges. They're gonna use it. DC 17 dex saving throw. 5 minus 2 fails. Oh no, this should be it. And with 62 points of fire damage, the young gold dragon is victorious. Today's round 1 matchup in our CR10 tournament pits the Cyclops Oracle versus the Githzerai Enlightened. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Githzerai Enlightened will be up first. They're gonna do their Temporal Strike. They make a melee attack. 15 plus 8 hits. Deals 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning plus 8d12 psychic. 78 damage. And the Cyclops has to make a DC 16 wisdom saving throw or move 1 round forward in time. Oracle adds an 8 to this, so an 8 or higher saves. Okay, an 18 plus 8 saves. They are not moved forward in time, and it is now their turn. They're gonna make 3 Radiant Strike attacks, an 8 or higher hits. Okay, that's a miss, a hit, and a crit. Each strike deals 3d10 plus 6 radiant damage. Boom. 41 plus 18, 59 points of damage. And the Oracle is going to use a reaction Portent. When the Cyclops makes a d20 test, they can roll a d20 and choose whether to use that roll in place of the d20 rolled. So they're going to see if they hit on the one they missed. And a 10 plus 10 hits. I added too many 6s last time. 20 more points of damage. The Githzerai's turn. Temporal Strike does not recharge. They're gonna make 3 unarmed strikes. Whoa. Oh my gosh. That is 2 crits and a hit. Okay, this is gonna be huge. Each unarmed strike deals 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning plus 4d8 psychic. So this is gonna be a total 10d8 plus 4 bludgeoning and 20d8 psychic. This could be the most rolled in a turn in IFC history. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get the dice we need. So the bludgeoning first. 55 bludgeoning damage. 44 psychic on the first 10. And with 46 damage. Someone do the math because I could not keep track of the total amount of damage. But I know one thing. The Githzerai Enlightened is moving on to the next round. Our second to last round 1 matchup in our CR10 tournament pits the Winter Eladrin versus the Fomorian Deep Crawler. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Winter Eladrin up first. They're gonna use their multi-attack, 2 longbow attacks, a 7 or higher hits. Both of those are gonna miss. The Fomorian Deepcrawler's turn. At the start of their turn, they need to make a save against the Winter Eladrin's Sorrowful Presence. It's a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw. Deepcrawler adds a 3. A 3+3 is going to fail. So they are charmed. This means the Fomorian can't do anything. At the end of its turn, it can repeat the saving throw. DC 13 Wisdom. Okay, a natural 20. So they save against Sorrowful Presence. They are no longer charmed, but it's now the Winter Eladrin's turn. 2 longbow attacks. A 7+7 hits, so both of those hit. Each longbow deals 1d8+3 piercing plus 3d8 cold. 33 plus 6, 39 damage. The Deepcrawler's turn. It's going to do its multi-attack, 2 slams, and Crawling Hex. First, Crawling Hex. It's a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. The Winter Eladrin has magic resistance, but nothing in Crawling Hex says it's magical. I don't know what to do with these things. I'm gonna say magic resistance does not work for Crawling Hex. They add a +3. A 13+3 saves. Nothing happens on a success. 2 slams. +10, both of those hit. Each slam deals 3d10 plus 6 bludgeoning. 33 plus 12, 45 damage. The Eladrin can use their reaction, Frigid Rebuke. When they take damage, that creature makes a DC 16 con saving throw, or they take 2d10 cold. A 4+5 fails. 8 cold damage. The Winter Eladrin's turn. They're going to use their bonus action Face Step to teleport 30 feet away from the Deepcrawler, so they can now make their 2 longbow attacks. Both of those hit. 40 damage. The Deepcrawler's turn. Crawling Hex does recharge. They're using that and their 2 slam attacks. Crawling Hex, DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. A 9+3 is gonna fail. 78 psychic damage. 29 psychic, and they are prone. While they are cursed in this way, they cannot stand up and they cannot end the prone condition on themselves. You know what? No. Wait, give me a second. Crawling Hex. That has to be part of magic resistance, right? Let me roll. I'm going to say it works. I'm going to say magic resistance works for this. That's crazy. So I'm going to re-roll this. 12 or higher saves. Okay. The Winter Eladrin saves there. They are not prone. They are not cursed. That's what I'm saying. I just don't know what magic resistance is if it's not for something like Crawling Hex. With that out of the way, Fomorian Deepcrawler is going to make 2 slam attacks. 2 + 10 misses, but the 9 + 10 hits. 2, 5. Ooh, bad roll. 11 bludgeoning damage. The Winter Eladrin uses their reaction Frigid Rebuke, DC 16 con saving throw. A 4+5 fails. 10 cold damage. Now the Winter Eladrin's turn. Their Face Step does not recharge. It's going to stay in melee range and make 2 longsword attacks. This is a +4 to hit, so a 10 or higher hits. That's going to be 1 longsword hit. The longsword deals 1d10 slashing plus 3d8 cold. That is 17 damage. The Fomorian's turn. Crawling Hex recharges. DC 15 Wisdom saving throw at advantage with magic resistance. 12 or higher saves. That is 2 8s. That's gonna fail. Here we go with the psychic damage, and they are prone. Curse for 1 hour. 32 psychic damage. So the Deepcrawler does their 2 slam attacks at advantage. The first one hits, and the second one hits. 33 damage. The Winter Eladrin uses Frigid Rebuke as a reaction. DC 16 con saving throw. 18 + 5 passes. The Winter Eladrin's turn. Face Step doesn't recharge. This is very tough for the Winter Eladrin. They're prone, they can't stand up. They're just gonna make 2 longbow attacks at disadvantage. Their first longbow hits. And their second longbow hits. 42 damage. Oh my gosh, we are getting to it. The Deepcrawler's turn. Crawling Hex recharges. They're gonna do 2 slams and Crawling Hex. Let's do Crawling Hex first. DC 15 Wisdom save. Winter Eladrin saves. Now the 2 slam attacks at advantage. An 8 + 10 misses. Okay, the Winter Eladrin has life. The second attack hits. Bad roll. That is 14 points of damage. Oh my gosh, the Winter Eladrin is alive. And they're using their reaction Frigid Rebuke. DC 16 con saving throw. Okay, a 16 + 5 saves. So now to the Winter Eladrin. Phase step recharges. It doesn't really matter for them though. On the ground, 2 longbow attacks. Attack number 1 hits. Oh my gosh. They have a very good chance to kill the deep crawler if this hits. Let's do it. Big die moment. Disadvantage longbow. Both of these need to be a 7 or higher to hit the deep crawler. Okay. Now for disadvantage. If this is 7 or higher, the Winter Eladrin hits. Let's see. Oh. A 4. A 4. The second longbow misses. 48 plus 3 damage. A 25 or higher on 48. And the Winter Eladrin is moving on. Nope. 10. 15. That is 18 points of damage. The Fomorian Deep Crawler is still up. It is the Fomorian's turn. Let's see if Crawling Hex recharges. Big die moment. Crawling Hex recharges. With advantage, magic resistance. DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. A 19 plus 3 saves. So now the slam attacks. Both of these hit. There is a great chance the Winter Eladrin goes down. But the Winter Eladrin has Frigid Rebuke that deals 2d10 cold damage. So we're gonna have to resolve this one at a time. Let's see if the first slam hits. One of these needs to be a 9 or higher. And the Fomorian Deep Crawler just crit exactly when they needed to crit. This is 60-10 plus 6 bludgeoning. A 24 on 60-10. And the Fomorian Deep Crawler is moving on to the next round. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my gosh, this might not be it. This might not be it. 6, 7, 8, 9. 14, 16. 24. 24. Oh my gosh, Fomorian Deep Crawler. With 24 on the dice, plus 6, they deal 30 points of damage. Exactly what they needed to take the Winter Eladrin down. The Fomorian Deep Crawler is moving on. Our last round 1 matchup in our CR10 tournament pits the Deva versus Patreon's monster, the Orthon. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Orthon up first. The Orthon's going to use their bonus action invisibility field and become invisible. While invisible, they're going to make a brass crossbow attack at advantage. This is only a plus 7 to hit. And a 10 plus 7 hits. So the Orthon is no longer invisible, but on a hit, they can choose one of 6 effects, and they're gonna choose paralysis. So first the damage, 2d10 plus 3 force plus 4d10 lightning. 36 damage, and the Deva needs to make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw or become paralyzed. The Deva adds a plus 4, so they need this to be a 13 or higher. A 12 plus 4. That is going to fail. The Deva is now paralyzed. Okay. The Deva's turn. At the end of its turn, it can remake the saving throw. DC 17 Constitution saving throw. And that is a natural 1. It is now the Orthon's turn. Invisibility field does not recharge. Orthon's gonna run up to the Deva and use their Infernal Dagger. This is at advantage. This is a plus 10. And that is a natural 20. The Infernal Dagger deals 2d4 plus 6 force, and the target must make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw or take 4d10 poison damage and become poisoned for 1 minute. They add a plus 4. An 8 plus 4 fails. Okay, so this is all doubled. 66 points of damage. The Deva's turn. They're paralyzed at the end of their turn. They have to remake 2 saving throws. First, let's do paralysis. A 13 or higher saves. I dropped it. I dropped it. A 13 plus 4 saves. The Deva is no longer paralyzed. Let's see if they're still poisoned. Another DC 17 con saving throw. A 6 plus 4 fails. They are still poisoned. And it's now the Orthon's turn. Invisibility field does not recharge. The Orthon's going to use their Infernal Dagger. 7 or higher hits. A 5 plus 10 misses. Now to the Deva's turn. They're going to use their bonus action Divine Aid and cast Lesser Restoration on themselves. This removes the poison condition on themselves. Now no longer poisoned, they're going to do 2 Holy Mace attacks. A 9 or higher hits. There's going to be 1 miss and 1 hit. Each mace deals 1d6 plus 4 bludgeoning plus 48 radiant. The Orthon is resistant to the bludgeoning damage. 10 bludgeoning halved to 5 and 15 radiant damage. The Orthon's turn. Invisibility field does not recharge. They're making an Infernal Dagger attack. 16 plus 10 hits. DC 17 con saving throw. 13 or higher saves. 11 plus 4 is going to fail. The Deva is now poisoned and takes all the poison damage. 33 points of damage. The Deva's turn. They're going to do it. They're going to use another bonus action Lesser Restoration, removing the poison on themselves. They get Divine Aid twice a day, so they have no more bonus action Divine Aid. And they're going to make 2 Holy Mace attacks. A natural 1 and 1 hit. That is 9 bludgeoning halved to 4 and 23 radiant. The Orthon's turn. Invisibility field does recharge. They're going to make an Infernal Dagger attack with advantage. 12 plus 10 hits. 31 damage. Oh my gosh. What a match here. The Orthon's going to use their bonus action Invisibility field now. They become invisible. They step away from the Deva, and that's going to be their turn. The Deva's turn. They cannot see the Orthon. Ho ho ho. The Deva's gonna cast an at-will spell, Detect Evil and Good. For 10 minutes, the Deva can sense the location of any fiend within 30 feet of itself. So even though the Orthon is invisible, the Deva now knows where they are. I should say the Deva closed the distance with the Orthon. It is now the Orthon's turn. Invisibility field does recharge. This is tricky here because opportunity attacks happen when a creature that you can see leaves your reach. Detect Evil and Good, you just sense the location. What I'm gonna say here, the Orthon can leave the Deva's melee range without invoking an attack of opportunity. The Orthon can then shoot its brass crossbow, but because the Deva knows where they are, they can sense their location, they're looking in that direction, the brass crossbow will not be at advantage. A 4 plus 7 is going to miss. The Orthon becomes uninvisible. They're going to recast invisibility on themselves using a bonus action Invisibility field, and it's now the Deva's turn. The Deva can sense the location of the Orthon. They cannot see them. I'm going to rule because the Deva can't see the Orthon. They know where they are. They can go up to the Orthon, do 2 Holy Mace attacks, but their mace attacks will be at disadvantage. Both of these need to be a 9 or higher. That is a natural 1 on the first. The second Holy Mace hits. 8 bludgeoning halved to 4 and 22 radiant damage. And because the Orthon is hit by an attack roll, it is no longer invisible. Now the Orthon's turn. Invisibility field recharges. They're going to cast it on themselves. They are invisible. They're going to leave the Deva's melee range without invoking an attack of opportunity. The Deva knows where they are, so when the Orthon does a brass crossbow, it is a straight roll. And that is a 2 on the dice. The Orthon misses again with their crossbow. They are visible now. The Deva's turn. The Deva's going to run up and do 2 Holy Mace attacks. 16 plus 8 hits. Let's roll damage here. 9 bludgeoning halved to 4 and 13 radiant damage. And with 15 hit points or fewer, the Orthon's explosive retribution reaction ignites. In response to dropping to 15 hit points or fewer, the Orthon explodes. All other creatures must make a DC 17 Dex saving throw, taking 2d8 fire and 2d8 thunder damage on a fail. A 9 plus 4 fails. The Deva takes 14 points of damage, and with the Orthon exploded, the Deva is left standing, and the Deva is moving on to the next round. Our first round 2 matchup of our CR10 tournament pits the Haunting Revenant versus the Giff Warlord. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Haunting Revenant up first. They're going to use their multi-attack, 2 object slams, and invitation. For invitation, it's a DC 17 charisma saving throw. Giff adds a +4. That is cocked, and we honor the cock here. At this table, we honor the cock. And that's a 6 plus 4. That's going to fail. The Giff Warlord's going to use a legendary resistance to save. So they are not swallowed by the Haunting Revenant. Now the Haunting Revenant's going to do 2 object slam attacks and 8 or higher hits. That's a natural 1 and a hit. Each slam deals 5d8 plus 5 bludgeoning. 31 damage. The Giff Warlord's going to use a legendary action, weapon of choice, and make 2 Morning Star attacks. The first is at advantage. The first one's going to miss. And the second one's going to miss. Now the Giff Warlord's turn. Multi-attack, 2 Morning Star attacks. That's a miss and a hit. Each Morning Star deals 2d8 plus 5 piercing. 6 plus 5, 11 piercing damage. The Haunting Revenant's turn. First invitation, DC 17 Charisma saving throw. An 18 plus 4 saves. Now 2 object slam attacks. 8 plus 9 hits, so both of those hit. 46 plus 10, 56 damage. This house is really good. Legendary action, weapon of choice, 2 Morning Star attacks. Ooh, a 9 plus 10 misses, but that's only 1 hit. 18 damage. The Giff's turn, 2 more Morning Star attacks. Both of those are gonna hit. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This is not good. This is not good at all. I completely rocked my setup. I gotta get it reset up. Oh my gosh, I rocked it. I've never done that before. What was happening? 30 points of damage. The Haunting Revenant's turn. First invitation, DC 17 Charisma saving throw. A 14 plus 4, that's gonna save. Now 2 object slams. Both of those are gonna hit. 52 plus 10, 62 points of damage. Legendary action, weapon of choice, 2 Morning Star attacks. The Giff has to go completely bonkers here. That's gonna be a hit and a miss. 14 damage. Now the Giff's turn, 2 more Morning Star attacks. That's another hit and miss. 14 damage. Oh my gosh, this house is good. The Haunting Revenant's turn, DC 17 Charisma saving throw. It's a 10 plus 4, that fails. The Giff's gonna use their last legendary resistance to save. And now 2 object slams. There's a good chance even on 1 hit, the Giff Warlord goes down. On 2 hits, it's like a given. And those are good rolls. Those are really good rolls. Both of those are gonna hit. Oh my gosh, I missed one. And with 50 points of damage, the Giff Warlord goes down and the Haunting Revenant moves to the semifinals. Today's round 2 matchup of our CR10 tournament pits the Death Slaad versus the CR9 champion Glabrezu. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Death Slaad up first. They're going to cast their 8th level Blight. They get this once a day. It's a DC 16 Constitution saving throw. The Glabrezu has magic resistance, so they have advantage on this, and they add a plus 9. An 11 plus 9 is going to save. They're going to take 12d8 necrotic damage halved. 53 necrotic damage, halved to 26. The Glabrezu's turn. They're going to do their multi-attack, 2 pincer attacks, and spell casting. They're casting their once-a-day spell, Confusion. It's a DC 16 Wisdom saving throw. The Death Slaad adds a 0. They do have magic resistance, so they get advantage on this saving throw. An 11 plus 0 is going to fail. That means the Death Slaad is now confused. They roll a d10 at the start of its turn to determine its behavior for that turn. Now the Glabrezu is going to make 2 pincer attacks. A 2 plus 9 misses, but a 19 plus 9 hits. Each pincer deals 2d10 plus 5 slashing. 15 points of damage. And because the Death Slaad is a medium or smaller creature, the Death Slaad is now grappled. It is now the Death Slaad's turn. At the start of their turn, they regenerate 10 hit points from their ability Regeneration. D10 for Confusion. The higher the better for the Slaad. A 7, the target doesn't move, makes 1 melee attack against a random creature within range. So the Death Slaad's going to make a Chaos Blade attack against the Glabrezu in 8 or higher hits. And that is a natural 20. Blade deals 1d12 plus 5 slashing plus 3d6 necrotic. All of this is doubled. 51 damage. Until the start of the Slaad's next turn, the target has a condition determined by rolling a d4. And that's a 4 Ooh, the Glabrezu is now incapacitated. And because they are incapacitated, the Glabrezu's concentration on confusion is broken. It's the Glabrezu's turn. They are incapacitated. They can't do anything. Now to the Death Slaad. They regenerate 10 hit points, and they're going to do 2 Chaos Blade attacks. Both of those are going to hit. 35 plus 10, 45 damage. And 2d force to determine the condition on the Glabrezu. Oh no, they are charmed and incapacitated. The Glabrezu's turn, they can't do anything. Back to the Death Slaad, 2 more Chaos Blade attacks. And 8 plus 9 hits, so both of those hit. 47 points of damage. The Glabrezu is getting completely bodied. 2d force. That's 2 2s. Okay, so the Glabrezu is now frightened. So it's now the Glabrezu's turn. The Glabrezu's gonna do 2 pincer attacks and uses Pummel. So first for Pummel, because it is grappling the Death Slaad needs to make a DC 17 Dex saving throw. They add a +2 to this. 8 plus 2 fails. So they take 3d6 plus 5 bludgeoning. Let's do the 2 pincers. Disadvantage because of frightened. A 4 plus 9 misses. And a 7 plus 9 misses. Oh my gosh. The Glabrezu has been countered. 17 points of damage. The Death Slaad's turn. They regen 10 hit points. And now 2 more Chaos Blade attacks. Both of those hit. This should do it right here. The Glabrezu needs all of these to be 1s, basically. Nope, and that does not happen for the Glabrezu. That is 41 points of damage, and with that, the Death Slaad beats our CR9 champion. Our second to last round 2 matchup in our CR10 tournament pits the young gold dragon versus the Githzerai enlightened. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The gold dragon up first. They're gonna do their fire breath. It's a DC 17 dexterity saving throw. 3 plus 8, that is gonna fail. 10d10 fire damage. 57 fire damage. The Githzerai's turn. They're doing their temporal strike. First, they have to hit on an attack. 10 or higher hits. Ooh. A 4 plus 8 misses, which I guess just means their temporal strike ability is for naught. The young gold dragon's turn. Their breath weapon does not recharge. They're gonna do 3 rend attacks and 8 or higher hits. Miss, miss. That's only 1 hit. Rend deals 2d10 plus 6 slashing. 21 damage. The Githzerai's turn. Temporal strike does not recharge. They're gonna do 3 unarmed strikes. A 10 or higher is gonna hit. Miss, miss. That's only 1 hit. Each strike deals 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning plus 4d8 psychic. 36 damage. The gold dragon's turn. Their fire breath recharges. This might be it right here. DC 17 dex saving throw. 9 or higher saves. A 17 plus 8 saves. They're gonna take half damage. 45 fire damage, halved to 22. The Githzerai's turn. They need temporal strike to come back. And that is a 6, which means temporal strike recharges. They're using it. They need to hit here. A 10 or higher hits. 11 plus 8 hits. Okay, so let's do the damage first. 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning plus 8d12 psychic. That is 72 points of damage. And the young gold dragon needs to make a DC 16 wisdom saving throw, or they move 1 round forward in time. The young gold dragon adds a 5, so an 11 or higher saves. What are you doing in here? That is a 2 plus 5. That's gonna fail. The young gold dragon moves forward 1 round in time, which means their turn gets skipped and it goes straight back to the Githzerai enlightened. Let's see if temporal strike recharges. Temporal strike does not recharge. They need to go ham here. 3 unarmed strikes. I think they need to hit on all these. Ooh. 2 misses and a crit. Oh, that could have been so good. Plus 11, 20. That's 36. Whoa. That first roll is 36. Oh my gosh. A 30 on these 68s. And the young gold dragon goes down. This is close. 9. 12. Nope, this isn't it. 22 plus 36 is 58 plus 4. That is 62 points of damage. Oh my gosh. The young gold dragon is still up. And it's now the young gold dragon's turn. Fire Breath does not recharge. They're doing 3 rend attacks. Let's just do it. Let's do big dice moment. 3 rend attacks, a +10, and 8 or higher hits. 2 or more hits seals the deal for the gold dragon. Let's see. And that is a crit on the first one. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. They need to hit one more time for it to be minimum damage. And an 8 + 10 hits. Oh my gosh, and minimum damage. The Githzerai Enlighten goes down, and the young gold dragon is moving on to the semifinals. Our last round 2 matchup of our CR10 tournament pits the Fomorian Deepcrawler versus the Deva. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Fomorian Deepcrawler up first. They're gonna use their multi-attack, 2 slams, and Crawling Hex. Let's do Crawling Hex first. It's a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. The Deva has magic resistance, so they're gonna get advantage on this. They have a +9 to Wisdom, so a 6 or higher saves. 8 + 9 succeeds. Now the Fomorian does 2 slam attacks, a 7 or higher hits. That's 1 miss and 1 hit. Each slam deals 3d10 + 6 bludgeoning. Ooh, great roll. That's 32 points of damage. The Deva's turn. The Deva's gonna do 2 Holy Mace attacks. A 6 or higher is gonna hit. Ooh, that's 1 miss and 1 hit. Each mace deals 1d6 + 4 bludgeoning + 4d8 radiant. 21 points of damage. The Fomorian's turn. Crawling Hex does not recharge, so 2 more slam attacks. That's 1 miss and 1 hit. 20 bludgeoning. Now the Deva, 2 more Holy Mace attacks. That one's cocked, and we gotta honor the cock. Yes, we do. A 4 + 8 misses. The 7 + 8 hits, so that's 1 hit. 27 points of damage. Back and forth we go. The Fomorian's turn. Crawling Hex does not recharge. 2 more slams. That is a miss, and that is a critical miss. Now the Deva's turn. 2 Holy Mace attacks. First at advantage. Attack number 1 hits, and attack number 2 hits. Has 53 points of damage. The Fomorian needs something big here. Crawling Hex recharges. They're gonna use that first. DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. A 9 + 9 is gonna save. Now 2 slam attacks. That's 1 miss and 1 hit. 16 damage. Back to the Deva. 2 Holy Mace attacks. 8 + 8 hits. Both of those hit. 57 + 8. Ooh, 65 points of damage. The Fomorian's turn. Crawling Hex recharges. They need something very special right here. Crawling Hex, DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. 18 + 9, that's gonna save. So now 2 slam attacks. That's a miss and a hit. 14 damage. The Deva's turn, 2 Holy Mace attacks. If both of these hit, minimum damage will take the Fomorian Deepcrawler down. And that's only 1 hit. A 14 on these dice. And the Fomorian's down. 7, 12 + 10, 22 + 4, 26 points of damage, and the Deva is moving on to the semifinals. Our first semifinal bout in our CR10 tournament pits the Haunting Revenant versus the Death Slaad. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Haunting Revenant up first. They're going to do their multi-attack, 2 object slams, and invitation. Let's do invitation first. That's a DC 17 Charisma saving throw. The Death Slaad has magic resistance, so we'll have advantage on this save. A 13 + 4 saves. And now the 2 slam attacks. A 9 or higher hits. Both of those are going to hit. Each slam deals 5d8 + 5 bludgeoning. 40 points of damage. The Death Slaad's turn. At the top of their turn, they have an ability, Regeneration. They regain 10 hit points at the start of each of their turns. The Slaad's gonna do their multi-attack, 2 Chaos Blade attacks, and 11 or higher hits. That is a crit and a hit. Each hit deals 1d12 + 5 slashing + 3d6 necrotic. The Revenant is resistant to the necrotic damage. 26 slashing damage and 38 necrotic damage, half to 19. In addition, on each Chaos Blade hit, until the start of the Slaad's next turn, the target has a condition determined by rolling a d4. The Revenant is immune to the Charmed, Frightened, and Poisoned conditions, so only on a 4 will they become incapacitated. That's 2 1s. Charmed does not affect the Revenant, and now the Revenant's turn. First invitation, DC 17 Charisma saving throw with advantage. and 18 plus 4 saves. And now 2 slam attacks. 1 miss and 1 hit. 28 bludgeoning damage. The Death Slaad's turn. Regenerates 10 hit points and is going to make 2 Chaos Blade attacks. Both of those are going to hit. 22 slashing and 20 necrotic halved to 10. And now 2d4s. On a 4, the Revenant is incapacitated. That's 2 3s. The Revenant is immune to the poison condition. No effects. Back to the Revenant. Invitation, DC 17 charisma, at advantage. A 17 plus 4 saves. Some huge saves from the Slaad. Now 2 object slam attacks. That's a 1 miss and 1 hit. 35 bludgeoning damage. The Death Slaad regains 10 hit points and 2 more Chaos Blades. Oh my gosh, the Death Slaad is rolling so well. That's a hit and another crit. Okay. Ooh, we got a rider. We got a rider. 23 slashing and 20 necrotic halved to 10. 2 more d4s. On a 4, they're incapacitated. And that's a 2 and a 1. Revenant immune to Charmed and Frightened. Back to the Revenant. Invitation, DC 17 charisma saving throw. At 15 plus 4 saves. 2 object slam attacks. Ooh, a 4 and a 2 on the dice. Both of those are gonna miss. Back to the Slaad. Regens 10 hit points. 2 Chaos Blade attacks. There's a miss, but also there's a hit. 17 slashing and 11 necrotic halved to 5. 1d4. And that's a 3, immune to poisoned. Back to the Revenant. Invitation, DC 17 charisma with advantage. There it is. A 10 plus 4 is going to fail. The Death Slaad is now inside the Haunting Revenant. And while inside, the Revenant has advantage on their object slam attacks. So 2 of those add advantage. 10 plus 9 is going to hit. And an 18 plus 9 is going to hit. 50 bludgeoning damage. Oh my gosh. These are some heavy hitters. The Death Slaad's turn. They regen 10 hit points. What do they do? So they could cast their plane shift spell to try to get out of the Haunting Revenant. But the Haunting Revenant has an ability, Haunted Zone, where any creature that casts a spell while inside the Revenant's space needs to make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw. So there's a good chance that plane shift will fail and they'll have wasted a turn. And even if they succeed, there's a chance that the Haunting Revenant just invites them back in. So because of that, they're doing 2 Chaos Blade attacks. And that was not the right choice because both of those miss. Back to the Haunting Revenant. They're doing 2 Object Slam attacks, both at advantage. A 14 plus 9 hits, and a 16 plus 9 hits. 40 plus 10, 50 bludgeoning damage. The Death Slaad regens 10 hit points. What do? They have to just keep hitting. They're going to try to do 2 more Chaos Blade attacks. Okay, that's only 1 hit. 7 slashing damage and 12 necrotic halved to 6. And now the D4. The Death Slaad needs a 4 here. Let's see. And that is a 2. That is Frightened. The Revenant is immune to the Frightened condition and is back to the Revenant. 2 slam attacks. If both of these hit, it's pretty much over. First one an advantage. And that's a natural 20. Second one. And that's another hit. Oh my gosh, that is 15 D8 plus 10. There's a chance. There is a chance. 19. Nope. It's over. And with 63 points of damage, the Death Slaad goes down, and the Haunting Revenant is moving on to the finals. Our last semifinal bout in the CR10 tournament pits the Young Gold Dragon versus the Deva. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Deva up first. They're gonna do 2 Holy Mace attacks. A 10 or higher is gonna hit. Ooh, this one's cocked, and we gotta honor the cock. Get in the bowl. That's 1 hit and 1 miss. Each mace deals 1d6 plus 4 bludgeoning plus 48 radiant. 32 points of damage. The Gold Dragon's turn. They're going to use their Fire Breath. It's a DC 17 dexterity saving throw. The Deva adds a plus 4. 13 or higher saves. 10 plus 4, that's going to fail. 10d10 fire damage. Oh my gosh, so many 9s and 6s. You know what that means. That is 66 fire damage. The Deva's turn. First, as a bonus action, they're going to use Divine Aid, and they're going to cast Cure Wounds on themselves. 2d8 plus 5 HP back. They heal up 10 hit points. And now they're going to do 2 Holy Mace attacks. 1 hit and 1 miss. 28 damage. Now the Young Gold Dragon. Fire Breath does not recharge. They're going to do 2 rend attacks and use Weakening Breath. First, Weakening Breath. It's a DC 17 strength saving throw. I am so confused with this. What is magic? From what I understand, Fire Breath is not a magical effect. Weakening Breath, however, that really feels like a magic effect. I'm just going to rule whatever I want to rule here. I think Weakening Breath is a magical effect, so the Deva does have advantage on it given their magic resistance. I don't know. A 19 plus 4 is going to save. So now they're going to do 2 rend attacks. And that's a nat 20 and a hit. Each rend deals 2d10 plus 6 slashing. 43 damage. Now the Deva's turn. They're going to do 2 Holy Mace attacks. A 9 plus 8 misses, but the 14 on the dice hits. 27 points of damage. The Young Gold Dragon. Their Fire Breath recharges. They're using it. It's a DC 17 Dex saving throw. Plus 4 to this. A 4 plus 4 is going to fail. This could be the shifting of the tides. That's 62. 62 fire damage. The Deva's turn. They're going to use their bonus action, Divine Aid. This is their second one, and they only get 2. Cure Wounds, 2d8 plus 5. Ooh, a great roll. 19 hit points back. And now, 2 Holy Mace attacks. Uh-oh, Young Gold Dragon. That is a crit and a hit. That is 73 points of damage. The Young Gold Dragon backs against the rope. It is now the Young Gold Dragon's turn. They get Fire Breath back. What do they do? They're not going to kill them with Fire Breath. This is what they're going to do. They're going to try to weaken the Deva. They need to hope for a Weakening Breath fail to give the Deva disadvantage on strength-based d20 tests. With advantage, because of magic resistance, strength saving throw plus 4, a 13 or higher saves. There's a 6 and an 18 plus 4. That's going to save. They are not weakened. And now 2 rend attacks. That's a hit and a miss. 16 points of damage. The Deva's turn. They're doing 2 Holy Mace attacks. On a hit, there's a good chance it's over. A 10 or higher hits. That's a hit and a hit. Oh my gosh. And with 2 hits, minimum damage takes the Young Gold Dragon down. And the Deva is moving on to the championships. The finals of our CR10 tournament are here. The Haunting Revenant versus the Deva. Who's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. We gotta roll. The Deva up first. The Deva's gonna do 2 Holy Mace attacks. They need a 12 or higher to hit. Both of those are gonna miss. To the Haunting Revenant, they're gonna do 2 Object Slam attacks and Invitation. First Invitation, that's a DC 17 Charisma saving throw. The Deva has magic resistance, so they're gonna be able to roll with advantage, and they add a plus 9 to this save. And a natural 20, that's gonna do it. Now 2 Object Slam attacks. A 6 plus 8 misses, but the 19 plus 8 hits. Each slam deals 5d8 plus 5 bludgeoning. 21 points of damage. The Deva's turn. 2 more Holy Mace attacks. That's 1 miss and 1 hit. Each mace deals 1d6 plus 4 bludgeoning plus 48 radiant. Ooh, so many ones. 15 points of damage. The Revenant's turn. Another Invitation. DC 17 Charisma saving throw. Oh my gosh. That's a 5 plus 9. A 14 fails. The Deva is now teleported inside the Revenant space and swallowed. The Deva can't get out. They don't have any magic to get out. Now the Revenant gets to do their 2 slam attacks at advantage. Slam 1 hits. And slam number 2 hits. 53 points of damage. Ooh, this is bad for the Deva. They just got no tricks up their sleeves. It's the Deva's turn. They're going to use their Divine Aid. They get this twice a day. They're going to cast Cure Wounds on themselves. 2d8 plus 5. They heal up 16 hit points. And they're going to do 2 Holy Mace attacks. That's only 1 hit. 25 points of damage. The Haunting Revenant's turn. 2 Object Slams, both at advantage. Slam 1 hits. And slam number 2 hits. 59 plus 10. We haven't had one all tournament. 69 points of damage. The Deva's turn. They're going to use their second Divine Aid as a bonus action. Cast Cure Wounds on themselves one more time. 13 healing. And now 2 Holy Mace attacks. That's 1 hit and 1 miss. 29 points of damage. The Revenant's turn. 2 more object slams. That's a crit with slam number 1. And a hit with slam number 2. That's 75 points of damage. The Deva's turn. They got nothing. They got nothing here. Just 2 mace attacks. Oh my gosh, an 11 plus 8 misses. Oh, and the Revenant. This should be it. 2 more object slam attacks at advantage. And that's a crit. Oh my gosh, and that's a crit. And that's a hit. What pure domination from this house. And with 65 points of damage, the Deva goes down. And the Haunting Revenant, this gosh darn house, they are your CR10 champion. My name is Brandon, and I'll see you next time on the Interplanar Fighting Championships.